only 4% of homeowners have flood insurance. A lot of places got affected and things that we've never seen before. Everything's going up. The insurance premiums are going to go up. Taxes are going to go up.
On top of if you have HOA, on top of interest, on top of principal, taxes.
It's just a nightmare, right? Make sure that you're financially ready for adjustments to your policy so you're ready and you don't get caught.
Hi everyone, Serena Diaco here, and welcome back to the Digest by A&D Mortgage, your trusted source for insights into the mortgage industry. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the devastating wildfires in California. Our hearts go out to all of the families, homeowners, and communities impacted by these fires, as well as the brave first responders working tirelessly to protect lives and property. It's a tough time, and we all stand with you. Today's episode covers a crucial topic: how climate risks like wildfires, hurricanes, and floods are driving up property insurance costs across the country. This is more than just a business issue. It's a personal one for many families, including our clients, our partners, whose lives have been turned upside down. We've invited an expert from Florida to share actionable tips for brokers facing these challenges. If you're wondering how to help your clients save on insurance and close more deals despite the rising premiums, and prepare for what's ahead, stay with us. We've got you covered. We also want to hear from you. Please share your experiences, questions, or ideas for future episodes in the comments. We're in this together, and your voice matters. Good morning, Danny. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Serena. I'm happy to be here.
And thank you for taking the long drive as well.
Oh, yes.
Staying dry?
I am.
Staying warm?
It was very wet and cold this morning. A few accidents on the way down, but not bad.
Danny, I have a couple questions for you today regarding insurance and climate change and everything that has been going on in the United States recently.
Sure. Yeah.
My first one is, how do you advise people to save money on their insurance in higher risk areas?
Yeah, great question. We've seen a lot of, especially in Florida, the premiums have gone very high. So I always recommend that they get with their insurance broker and make sure that they understand what current conditions are affecting their policy. I also recommend that they look at their deductibles, because that can help. But of course, if you raise your deductibles, you need to be prepared if you have a claim to afford that deductible. It's important to keep good credit, right? That affects your premiums as well. And then you can do things to help make your home more strong against natural disasters like hurricanes, right? You can get storm windows and things like that. Those help as well. So those are the main things that I think is important.
We actually just bought a home and we got the impact windows and we got a discount on our home insurance.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah, it's great. And if you have a newer home, of course, you don't need a wind mitigation, but if you have an older home, of course, that's very important to have a wind mitigation too, because that's where you can see some sizable discounts.
Forced place insurance, why should it be avoided? How to avoid it?
It's important to look at your policy and make sure that if your insurance carrier says, hey, we looked, let's say that you initially get a policy and they say, hey, there's a big tree and there's a limb hanging over the house, we need you to take care of that. It's important that you call your insurance agent, get with them and understand what they're looking for and take care of those things. Also, pay your premiums, right? If you have a mortgage on it, you're required to have insurance, but make sure that those premiums are getting paid. And then, of course, make sure that you're financially ready for adjustments to your policy, right? Premiums have been going up. So it's important to budget some of that money to make sure that when those premiums go up, that you can afford that adjustment.
You mentioned that insurance premiums are going up. Is there any way possible that insurance brokers can help encourage maybe the negotiation of a premium or other ways that we can get those policies down in price?
Yeah, I'm very active with the Florida Association of Mortgage Professionals, and we go up with our legislators in Tallahassee, and I'll actually be going up there next month. And we really pushed, we had some problems with our insurance, and back in 2022, they passed a law. So the assignment of benefits is not happening anymore. That helped slow things down as far as the premiums going up. There were a lot of lawsuits against insurance carriers, and then we all have to bear that cost, right? So that law was changed, and things are starting to get a little bit better. I'm sure a lot of people aren't feeling it, right? But it's slowly starting to get better. And we're seeing some of the carriers are actually coming. We're starting to see more carriers come into Florida to create more competition. We're not seeing Citizens, which is our state insurance of the last resort, we're not seeing them actually doing as many policies as they were before. So that's helping. So that's what I see.
Very cool.
What was the rest of that question too? I kind of lost my thought there.
You know, again, in the home we just bought, it has poly piping,
Yes.
which is like very hard to
Polybutylene is-
insure
yes,
here.
Exactly.
And so we have to, it was very hard to find an insurance policy. And when we did, it was almost $6,000 annual,
Right.
which is insane.
And did they exclude water, or did they limit water coverage?
They
Probably.
limited.
Yeah.
They limited the coverage. And so we are planning to just redo all of the piping.
Right.
And
yeah. Yeah. Because
hopefully-
polybutylene is a big when you're looking at insurance.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And our second night there, we actually had a pipe burst in our backyard.
goodness.
Started shooting gallons of water at our house. We
Right.
had to call the fire department because we didn't know where the main valve was.
Right.
So fire department
Yeah.
had to come shut off the main valve, and we
Right.
had the HOA fix it. But I mean, it was just
It's just a nightmare, right? And then you're inconvenienced, and then yeah, not a good situation.
What other regions do you see in the U.S. that face challenges, and what are those challenges?
Great question. I think all of us are aware, like the Southeast with the hurricanes last year, right? Helene and Milton. You know, we had Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. You know, a lot of places got affected, and things that we've never seen before. So we've got that. You've got the Midwest with tornadoes and things like that. You've got Louisiana with flooding, California out there. So it's important to make sure that you're getting with your agent every year. And like I said, having them review your policy, understand what the market trends, what are affecting your policy, and then look at ways to find discounts.
Do you think that those issues in those specific areas, do you think it affects like the real estate market at all?
Yes, I definitely do, because the premiums, right, will go up, right? And we're going to bear it, either each of us individually, right? And if we don't have enough money to cover it, then of course the taxpayers, which is us, are going to bear that cost as well. So I think it's important when you're working with your mortgage broker, right, that they look at that early on so you understand what the premium is going to be for the home that you're buying, and then making sure that you can afford that. And if not, obviously we all have very good mortgage brokers to work with. They'll help you find possibly another property, maybe a newer home, maybe in a different area. So all those things affect us, right? If we're close to the coast, which obviously all of us in Florida, a lot of homes are close to the coast, that affects policies, right? If you're near a big body of water, that's going to affect it with flood premiums and things like that. So
Right. Yeah. And that kind of ties into the next question, which was, can insurance premiums technically prevent a borrower from securing a loan or a home?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, that's part of it. And that's, again, where it's important to get with your mortgage broker quick and early. Let them get that premium shopped for you with your insurance so you can understand, okay, how much is my insurance going to cost? Can I afford it? And then you can go from there. But that's definitely a huge factor.
Yes, especially when we're talking, I feel, even debt to income. When we're looking at DTI, if that insurance premium shoots up and
Right.
we hit that,
Yes,
that
exactly.
point where it's
Yeah,
not even doable at that
exactly,
point. I
yeah.
mean, on
Yeah.
top of if you have HOA,
Right.
if you have, I mean, on top of interest, on top of principal, taxes, it
Right.
might not even be doable.
Yeah, and things, right, everything's going up, right? We know how things are going up, so it's important. And again, it's important to try to budget for that. Knowing, I think all of us that have owned a home for a while, we know that the insurance premiums are going to go up. We know that our taxes are going to go up. So it's important to budget for those, so you're ready and you don't get caught, so.
Right. Danny, are you aware of any government programs that can maybe help in these higher risk areas?
Yes, our government in Florida has what's called My Safe Florida Home. So it's mysafeflhome.com, and you can go on to that website and they will help you with hardening your home, is what I call it, right? To help you with possibly adding straps to your trusses, your homes for tie down. They can help you with new windows. They can help you with storm shutters and things like that. And for every $2 that you spend, they'll match it up to $10,000. Now, also, the Florida legislature enacted a program for condos, for condo associations, to help them harden it as well. And it's a pilot program. And right now, the funds are exhausted for both of those programs, but I recommend that you go to the website and put in your contact information, and then when more funds are available, they'll email you the updates and stuff like that. It's a wonderful program.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that program. Do you know about the National Flood Insurance Program, the national forecast of that?
Yes. Right now, they have premiums that have exceeded 200% of what they brought in. So that's an issue, right, with all the floods that we've had in the United States. So they've been looking carefully at flood maps. They're looking at the premiums and things like that. And it kind of goes back to the insurance. Congress is going to be looking at these things very carefully. But what will happen is the shortfall will be made up by higher premiums. We'll have to pay higher premiums. And then, of course, whatever the shortfall after that, then we'll have to pick it up as taxpayers. So the interesting thing is only 4% of homeowners have flood insurance, which is interesting. So I think it's important when you're talking to your agent to understand if you're in a flood zone, if you're not in a flood zone, and then of course if you are in a flood zone, your lender's going to require it.
Yeah.
But you need to understand that and make sure that you're properly covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than maybe selecting the more affordable option and
Right.
then maybe not being covered in the case.
I think you and I were talking earlier, you know, I have friends who have family in Louisiana, and their home, they love their home, they've lived there forever, but it's been flooded multiple times. So it's devastating, but the family doesn't want to move, so they have to go in there and, you know, mitigate all the flood and stuff, so it's difficult. Yeah.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you, Danny. I appreciate you being here, taking the drive from Orlando and coming out in the cold, because we all, I think, would rather, you know, be in a hoodie with a blanket.
Right.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Serena. I appreciate being here.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Huge thank you to our expert guests for shedding light on these important topics, and to you for tuning in. If you'd like to help those affected by recent disasters, there are trusted sources and platforms like GoFundMe where your support can make a real difference. As brokers, your role is vital, helping clients navigate rising insurance costs while finding the right mortgage solutions. Keep innovating, keep adapting, and keep supporting your clients. We'd love to hear your stories. Have rising insurance premiums affected your deals? What topics should we explore next? Please let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you found it helpful, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we will see you next time.